Crux, and hand the mic over to you.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, BSides, for allowing me to speak. And I appreciate this. Um, this is a worthwhile lecture. It's for a cause. Unfortunately, it's not the lecture that I had, but next year, hopefully, we'll do that. As it was mentioned before, I'm a retired criminal profiler, hostage negotiator. Had 24 years of law enforcement, both state as a local law enforcement, and also on the federal level, Department of Homeland Security. What we're going to talk about today is when stress meets tech. And you're probably saying to yourself, what the heck is a cop doing, or a former cop doing, talking at a tech conference? Well, I often ask that myself until recently when I was in London, and I found out that we all have something in common, law enforcement and the tech community, and that is especially investigators and detectives and special agents. We, along with the tech community, we love getting to the truth. We love problem solving. And when I say that, when I speak at tech conferences, you can see everybody in the audience going, yeah, that's true. We do like and that's the number one and key ingredient, the essence to being a good detective, special agent, or someone that's working in the field of technology, is the problem solving. And with that said, we'll go into the outline of the lecture. Um, this lecture, When Stress Meets Tech, it will give hope and inspiration as I recount my own personal struggles and with mental illness, PTSD, particularly, and depression. And we'll also discuss on how to communicate more effectively with those in not need of a crisis, but are stressed out. Uh, I will openly again talk about my anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and my passion for psychology, and my desire for care of the consumer. Now, I know tech has its lingo, law enforcement has its lingo, mental health has its lingo, and consumer is another word for patient. As a cop, I have to say that, yeah, we live in a world, as a former cop, we live in a world of politically correctness. So I don't know why they want to say consumer as opposed to patient. Key takeaways we're going to talk about today is overall alertness regarding the onset of stress, stress at one's place of employment, mentally supporting yourself, recognizing the best methods in a tense setting. Why me? Why am I telling this story? Well, on June 14th, 2017, my life took a change. What happened was I had thought I had real severe back pains. I mean, they weren't spasms. They were so much pain. I was in so much pain, I was crying. Literally, I was a grown man, former football player, wrestler, and I'm crying, police officer, crying in tears. So I went and I was at squad meeting, and I took the day off, and I went to the doctors, and I got 3 injections in my back for the pain. The doctor also gave me prescribed painkillers and prescribed muscle relaxers. Now, unbeknownst to me and my doctor at the time, the muscle relaxers, minoxidil, is known to cause rare bipolar effects in individuals. And unfortunately, I was that one. I went to bed that night, waking up early in the morning. I'm talking about like 2 o'clock in the morning, just wanting, thinking that I need to die. Something was telling me that you have to die. You're a terrible father. You're a terrible man. You're a terrible person. You do not need to live anymore. So what I did was I took the whole bottle of painkillers, and I took the whole bottle of muscle relaxers and a shot of vodka to accelerate the death. I was in my vehicle. I to this day I was so high, I literally see myself punching the sunroof to my car, but I was in my unmarked squad car. And one thing I'm grateful for out of the whole ordeal was that no one got killed, no one got hurt, and I didn't hurt anybody. And I'm still grateful for that to this day. But what happened? The officer came. I was found unresponsive. I passed out before I could go to the park. I wanted to go to the park to kill myself, and I had my off-duty 357 Magnum loaded in the passenger seat. And by the grace of God, I passed out at the wheel. My car just at the stoplight just rolled to a curb, and my car was running. A pedestrian called and said there's a police officer. I believe he's a police officer because even though the car is unmarked, he had the Indiana badge for all municipal owned vehicles to be on their license plate. And so officers came running lights and sirens. They knocked on the window. They said, "Hey, Jinx, that's my nickname. Are you okay?" And they said, "What are you doing out this late?" And I said, "I'm going to Krieger Park." And they said, "For what?" And I said, "To kill myself." That's another story in itself. If you want to hear more, I'll give you free copies of it. Just get in contact with me. It's totally free. It's uplifting and inspiring as how I got out of this whole this 2 year ordeal of depression and anxiety and paranoia. Where at one time I was at the top of my game. I was working on my PhD in forensic psychology. I had a master's in psychology, bachelor's in psychology and criminology. Um, I was at the top of my game. There were no hidden precursors or hidden a history of severe mental illness, something like that. Uh, Everything was fine. I was once angry and withdrawn and wanted to blame others. I wanted to blame the police department for not following protocol. I wanted to blame everybody except for myself, but then realizing that it was about not just me, but it was about health and mental illness in the lives of others, which made me want to turn around, change around, what helped me get better, recover, was time and a team of mental health professionals allowed me once again to see the man that God intended for me to be. Excuse me. One thing that I realized is that during this whole incident ordeal, uh, you, I was at three different professionals in the mental health community. I saw a psychiatrist to prescribe medication. I saw a psychologist to talk to about my paranoia, my anxiety, and I saw a therapist. Out of all those three individuals, I ended up getting rid of all two and kept one. And the one that I kept was the therapist. When I was doing research on what was wrong with me, because I have extensive background in psychology. I was working on my PhD, and I said something's not right here. I discovered that 70% of the population that have mental health issues, that 70%, they don't need medication. They just need someone to talk to, a therapist, a counselor. It's the 30%, the ones that suffer from schizophrenia, the individuals who try and were damn near close to ending their lives, who commit suicide. Not There's so many different levels of individuals committing suicide. You have the individuals that want help, the individuals that don't want help, the individuals that are in so much pain they want to end their life. Those are that last description that I described, that and individuals with schizophrenia, those are the 30% that really do need medication, but the other 70% don't. They just need a good therapist. So I came up with the Dr. Dre method. And this is based on research. This is not just based on how I feel. This is based on research. After interviewing close to 1,300 people in the tech community, I found out that there is stress in technology. There is stress in your line of work. Another note, the top three stressful jobs in 2019 were in this order: law enforcement, tech community, and the medical profession. And it shocked me. I'm like, whoa, tech? They don't even, what? And it shocked me, but it was true. So I sent out questionnaires to individuals all over the country, in America and in Europe, and asked them to anonymously fill out a questionnaire in regards to stress at their place of employment, which happens to be a tech facility. And the question, it was astounding how much stress that individuals in the tech field have. it was very astounding. So I decided to write this lecture, When Stress Meets Tech. The Dr. Dre method is just it's a method that teaches you, or it helps you control um, desires. It helps you to control yourself and how to take control of your own life. First, you have to find out what the, you know, what the stress is. You download it, you use a mental router, you delete it, reboot it, and encrypt it. And that's the Dr. Dre method. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. What they don't see. The pressures of working in the field of computer technology. And this is information, again, given to me by close to 1,300 individuals who have responded to my questionnaire. And what I found out is that what people don't see outside looking in, that having a job in computer technology could be a dream come true, but it could also be a nightmare for the people that are already inside that uh, facility. Working as a developer, specialist, designer, engineer, expert, manager, and technician demands a high level of precision over the extended period. And any minute lapse in one's judgment and job, could be disastrous. These demands can cause an increase in blood pressure and adrenaline, leading to stress and mental strain. Technicians and developers have a high level of psychological frustration during hours of work. Those who work continuously, and I mean more than 50 hours per week, these individuals take their job home with them. You can't do a 40-hour job, 40-hour job at work. I mean, a 50-hour job at work or an 80-hour job. When you work over 40 hours, if you are those extra hours you're taking home with you, whether you're at home or you're still at the office, they're taking part of your personal life. They're taking control. And the whole ideal of the Dr. Dre method is to regain control. When you take work at home, and I've done it too, again, the comparisons between an investigator, a special agent, or an individual in the tech community are uncanny, because one, we do take our work home. You take your work home. We let it bother us. We let the unanswered questions bother us, because again, we are problem solvers and we have to get to the truth. What they don't see in the technology field, you have tedious, boring tasks to do, high job demands, and the work burden itself, an absence of control over the job. I know we all say to ourselves that there's been that one time that we think we know better than our supervisors or our coworkers. But when you don't have the ability to express that, or you're in a work environment that discourages you to think and to express your thoughts, then it becomes a tension. It builds up, it becomes tense, and it builds up, and there's no access for release. That's what we're going to talk about in this. Poor managerial interactions. How many people out there have a manager that has poor communication skills, poor people skills, defective technology you're forced to work with, the fear of losing a job? I was at a conference, a DevOps conference in Dallas, Plano, Texas, rather, and a gentleman told me that he was with a very well-established technology firm, and he was a developer, and he was a developer for 10 years. And the next day he got a memo saying that he had to change his position. He had to change everything he did. He had to go from a developer to something else. I forgot what the title was, but if he didn't do it, he had the option of either doing that or losing his job. And I thought to myself, wow, that is stressful. Health issues. Typical health problems due to stresses are acid reflux, alcoholism, asthma, diabetes, fatigue, tension, headaches, and hypertension, insomnia, irritable bowel movement or bowel syndrome. My grandma calls it or God rest her soul, my grandma used to call it the bubblies. Excuse me if that was grotesque, but that's what she called it. Psychoneurosis, a nervous wreck, sexual dysfunction. Yeah, believe me. Yeah. There's been times where sometimes, people have to take the blue pill because stress is so high. And I realized when I retired from the police department, my stress was gone. And so it was the job, and everything else getting back to normal. There was no need for blue pills, and I'm not ashamed to admit it that I used the blue pills because the stress was so much. uh, you have to solve, to solve cases. You got mothers of the murdered victims calling you constantly, family members, friends on cases left or right, and you have no answers. Yeah, it's stressful. If you care, it's stressful. If you don't care, it probably won't be stressful. Skin disease is another issue. Work pressure can be explained as the harmful physical and psychological reaction. These arise when the demands of the career don't fit the capabilities, means, or requirements of the employee. Work stress may result in illness as well as in personal injury. Work-related stress happens to be one of the most significant health issues in modern world. Work stress arises in response to both the work and environment and worker factors. Yeah, the work we as workers, we're not totally innocent in this. Certain mentalities or certain attitudes can add to stress factors at work. Utilizing one's social skills can help improve an individual's lifestyle. Activities at workplace, these are lifestyle factors. These are things that you can use to decrease stress. Activities within the workplace, build or use more often social media interactions. For instance, I just started utilizing social media accounts 2 years ago. I used it for the job regarding social engineering, where I had fake accounts, and that's what I would wanted to talk about in my other lecture, social engineering, where you develop so many fake social media accounts and you get in the minds of others. That's the only time that I would, as a special agent, utilize social media. Now I utilize it, and I really don't partake too much in the activities, but I just sit back and watch, and it's funny. Again, you don't have to interact or post things in the media, if you social media. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it's good to just watch the silliness, watch the goofiness that takes place on the social media accounts. Schedule weekly or monthly employee outings. This is a form of team dynamics. um and it has to be outside the workplace. Go karaoke and go to happy hour, go somewhere, and what you go anywhere outside the workplace, but go as a unit. And what you realize is when you come back to work that next day or maybe a week later, you realize that John or Jenny aren't as stuck up as you thought. Oh, you saw them with their hair down, so to speak. You saw them being a person, and it sheds a light, and it's enlightening, and it's also relaxing and refreshing to see a person who you see as a one thing at work. All you see them as this person at work, but when you're outside the workplace, you see them as a different person, and we call that humanizing your coworkers. Get a work wife or a work husband. I had a work wife, and it was strictly platonic, but we talked about things. She was my support system, and we're still friends to this day. We were both homicide detectives, and we that's who I would go with my to for my problems, and she would go to me with her problems, and there was a mutual trust and admiration. But I believe it's a great idea to get a work wife or a work husband. Activities again outside the workplace. Request that your company implements a discounted rate to a fitness facility. Planet Fitness offers that. The YMCA offers that for companies with more than a certain amount of employees. They will offer discounts. Try walking or running. I know nowadays going to a gym is kind of at your own risk. My gyms are open, but I don't go. I rather just go run or walk. I usually walk. And again, exercise relieves stress, but not only is it exercise, you're taking control of your mind and your body. When you take control of your mind and your body, you feel invincible. And this is one aspect. It doesn't have to be walking, running, it could be anything. Pick up a hobby if you have one. Devote time to it more frequently. I have over 7 different drones. One of my sponsors gives me drones all the time, and they're known for that, and their cameras. And so that's my hobby, is drone footage and going around with my Osmo, my gimbal, and recording things, and then bringing them back to my computer and editing them. That's a whole day's work, but it's fun because it's something I chose. It's my hobby. It's not a task, it's an enjoyment. Find something that's not a task to do and make it a pleasurable enjoyment. Be yourself. Let that silly odd sock in you come out. And everybody has the silly side in their mental drawer. I call it the odd sock drawer. Go into that drawer, open it up, and let that sock be you. Let that sock be a silly sock. It's fun to just let that humor in you come out. Sometimes I'll watch Dave Chappelle over and over again. Even though I know the punchline, I know the joke, the laughter that the audience brings. That's what is exciting, because he's bringing laughter. Talk to yourself, but do this in private, of course. There's nothing wrong with having a healthy discussion with your mind. I do it a lot. Mediate, focus on your breathing. If you notice, I talk fast, but right now I'm just gonna stop. And if you can see and hear my tone, it's a little bit slower. If we do that a lot, I meditate probably once a day for 30 minutes. I just sit in a place, no sound, not that much lighting. I close my eyes and I just breathe, inhale, exhale for 30 minutes. And what I realize is my mind's blank. I don't think about anything. I'm not focusing on anything. All I'm doing is just breathing. Visualize yourself performing before doing. Self-awareness of one control. Start off small. For instance, to the right of me is my mouse. I've noticed there, I'm not even going to look at it. I'll just visualize myself touching it, visualize myself picking it up, starting with small things. I know this seems tedious, but if you start with small things and you start visualizing doing bigger things like a golf swing or swimming or even a task at work. If you visualize before you're doing it, it shows that you have control. You have to condition your body, because none of us right now, well, some of us do have control, but a lot of us don't. And in order to prepare yourself to have control, you must practice. And this is one way to do it, is visualize. And I know, again, ladies and gentlemen, this may seem tedious, but I hate saying the word. A long time ago, somebody told me that when I said the word trust me, they didn't like it because they had issues with trust with other people in the past. So I don't say trust me anymore. I say I know what I'm talking about. This works. And the best thing about it, it's all free, because you can do it yourself. You can control it yourself. You can design this method yourself. Give yourself a me day, not a me time, but a day. I'm talking about the whole day. A day that you're off from work, you let your family know, you let your friends know. If you want to cut your cell phone off, you can. My last me day, I'm a big MASH fan. I watched 8 seasons of MASH for one day. That's all I did. I just binged and watched 8 days. Was it productive? No. Was it meaningful? In a way, yes, it was meaningful, because for me, it showed that I had control. I told the world that this was Crux Conception Day, and if I want to be disturbed, it's up to me. I will allow that disruption to come in. But if I don't want to be disturbed, I'm not going to be disturbed. Again, it's all about control, keeping a positive mindset. Dr. Dre method. No, it wasn't made. Dr. Dre didn't think of this method, but I called it the Dr. Dre method because it spelled out Dr. Dre. download the cause of stress. Determine what's causing the stress in you. First, you have to find out that. Is it another person? Is it an object? Is it finances? Is it COVID? You have to find out what that stress is. And once you do, use a mental router to direct the stress to a secure site in your mind. If you can't ignore the stress, find a place to route it to a location in your head where it's safe but won't affect you. And everybody does that. We can do that. And the example is, how do you deal with toxic people? You know how to deal with toxic people. Either you ignore them or you tolerate them. Again, either you ignore them or you tolerate them. If you know how to ignore a toxic individual, then you know how to ignore stress. You can put it to the side of your mind. You know how to block out toxic attitudes and toxic personalities. It is the same method. You just put it to the side of your mind and just forget about it. In a way, you can't forget about it, but when you know that it doesn't affect you and then you're not allowing it to affect you, it's at that side of the mind. Learn to delete future stress elements. It's up to you. Once you discover what's causing you the stress, delete it by
Hey, Crux. Crux, do you hear me? I'm not hearing your audio anymore. I'm sorry to. I know it started kind of geeking out, and then here. I'm so sorry. Um, Still don't hear it. Did you hear me just fine? I'm not seeing anything coming in. If you go to your audio and I don't know what happened because I'm not even seeing anything on your side. I'm so sorry, Crux. You're on such a roll too. Um so if you go in your where you see the mute button, there should be like a little arrow. Make sure. Oh, so I see you're muted. So ask to unmute. Let's see if that helps. Oh, good times. Test, test, test. Still don't hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
How about?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, outstanding.
Okay. Back to the show, everybody. If sorry about that, Crux.
That's okay. Sorry.
I think this is about where you go to the last page just real fast.
Okay.
Okay. I think it was either here or right before this.
It was here we go. Okay, right
let's
here.
start there. Yeah, let's go ahead and start there. Thank you so much.
All right.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry. And as we were saying, to delete the stress. It's up to you. And as I was saying, my grandma used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was in Croatia one time, and every time I get off the stage, I always, and I call it a stage because I'm more of I like edutainment. I mix entertainment with education. But I always ask, what do I need to work on? I always find the event organizer and I always ask, what do I need to work on? And when I was in Croatia, I was told that my speech was fine. I asked what they thought about it. They said it was practical. And I kind of took offense to it, but this is practical because these are things we already have. These are skills we already have. We know how to avoid toxic individuals. We don't think about it quite often, especially when it goes down. So, but these are skills we already have, ladies and gentlemen, within us. Again, reboot. You don't have to call it the Dr. Dre method, but it works for me. You can make up any method. And the cool thing about it is, if you make up your own method and you use it and it works, the feeling of control that you have is outstanding. When people have a control over their mind, when they have control of their self-control and how others are influenced around them, it's a great feeling. It's a feeling of success and accomplishment, and it's something that you've done yourself. Reboot yourself and focus on positive aspects. It may seem futile again, however, there's a bright side to it. Focus on anything, and I mean anything which has a positive outcome. For instance, defund. The word defund has now been used a lot in American society, but what if defund, no one really has a good definition of what the word defund is, but what if defund means that they take some money and some of that money goes to daycare for your kids, or some of that money, you think of the positive. Yeah, defund for me as a former cop, defund is a bad word, but if you use it in a good way, defund to get more, take $20,000 to help with mental health, or $200,000 and take mental health. I took that bad word defund and I made it into something positive because I looked at the bright side of it. That's what that's what you need to do, or that's what we should do when we reboot, ladies and gentlemen. You have to look at it. You have to face that fear, face that stress, and find something good out of it. Just like when people say, when you're on stage talking, imagine people in your underwear. That doesn't work for me, but some people it does work. Encrypt your mind, secure it to a positive part. Once you've learned the method to take positive solutions to alleviate stress, lock them, secure them in the mind. Heck, even give it a password. You know, I have a password. I'm not going to say it, but I do. I have a password. I say, when I block something out, like there's a family member, a certain family member. Some of them may be toxic. This one wasn't toxic. This one just this family member just wants to keep stressing their opinions, and they always start off by, when you talk to them, can I say something? And when that person says something, that's the key. And that's when you go into that lock mode. And when that person says that, every time my mother says, can I say something? I know it's going to be some issue. It's going to be drama. So I already prepare myself to encrypt it and block it out. So, one thing I want to show is a video. Once I said again, is about counseling. Again, and I stress the fact that 30%, only 30, not only, that's a lot, but 30% of the population that are having issues with mental health, that 30% really do need medication. It's the 70% that doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. You find yourself gaining weight, you finding yourself stuttering. These are things that happened to me when I was prescribed medication after I was released. If you want to, after I was released, they prescribed me medication, and medication, I was 230 pounds. Then I ended up being 300 pounds. I stuttered. I grinded my teeth. My legs would twitch. And so I before I retired, I got all that medicine. I threw it away. And I started just speaking to a counselor, and we did something called rapid response therapy. And ladies and gentlemen, again, I gave my background in psychology. I'm gonna give it again. PhD candidate, master's degree in psychology, bachelor's degree. And I never once believed in hypnosis, but rapid response therapy worked. It worked for me. My doctor, John Neubauer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, it was great. I left that session feeling like I can conquer the world. I felt like I was Superman. And again, I never believed in hypnosis. I'm 51 years old, never believed in it, thought it was just TV, but it exists. Like Kevin Hart said about UFC fighters, they're real, they're here, it exists. So it does. But I want to show you this video, and it shows you, this is the kind of, and it's none of my business, it's nobody's business if you go see a therapist or counselor or if your child or your husband goes. But when I looked at this video, I saw it at a mental health conference, and I had to get a copy of it. This is the type of therapist I want. And this is the type of therapist I believe would be beneficial for that 70% that just need somebody to listen to them. So let me get it in here. Okay. All right. Can you see this? The video?
I only see the PowerPoint.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Of course.
Share. Oh, do we have time for this? I'm sorry, I didn't know if I went over.
We actually do have
Okay.
about maybe 8 minutes for sure.
8 minutes? Okay, great.
But I can extend that out, of course. If
yeah. Oh, here it is. Guess not. Oh.
You may only be sharing your presentation. You may have to actually share that other application.
Oh.
If that makes sense. Here. I think if you, yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay. And I don't hear the audio yet. I wonder if that should just come through.
Tired of everything. I'm tired of work.
There's a lag.
In every aspect. So, seems like you're very depressed. I know
Is it a local video or is this streaming?
It's a local. It's a video on my drive. You tell you what, I can just have it for if anybody wants it. I can give them a link to my cloud drive and they can download it.
That sounds good. That may work because it was just choppy. It was hard to hear. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on, and we might be able to downgrade the video or something. But why stress over tech? You know, this is stress-free talk here.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Yeah. Hey, there you go.
I got that from our little chat room here. They were all sorts of support, so I thought that was pretty awesome. But no, great talk, and it really is kind of amazing how through your journey of law enforcement, psychology, and kind of going in the stress of that, and then finding out, wow, in tech, you'd think tech wouldn't have any stress. What do we have to do?
I did.
And that's pretty profound that you actually found that there is a lot of stress in this industry. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was some weakness in myself. Like maybe I'm just my perception I need to change or reframe, to make myself okay with the environment I'm put in, so to speak. And because you kind of do get trapped or you feel trapped. And it's like, do I really want to do tech or do I just like helping people? And this has been interesting for this long. And now where am I getting my fulfillment from? And this is great. I love the Dr. Dre thing. And
Thank you.
I'm guessing you kind of you mix and mash that up for us techie guys.
Yeah, I did. It spells out Dr. Dre in another. I use Dr. Dre method too, but it spells out Dr. Dre in another form as well.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, I use it a lot. I call it the Dr. Yeah, it does, and it helps because it's something that I created, like something that you've probably created. You take pride in, and I do. It's my baby, and I do it.
That's awesome. As well as you should take pride in it. That's good stuff. And I really do appreciate you giving this talk today. And I definitely want to have more conversation with you directly, Crux. If
definitely. And I'll be on Slack. So are the attendees, are they on Slack as well?
Yes, they are. And most of your fans are in track too.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. Oh, and also, actually, this is a very good point that Sayon actually brought up. If you want that drive link for your video, go ahead and post it in track 2 if you don't mind. And so that way they'll just get it right there. And
okay. Great.
We might be able to actually post it whenever we go and master these videos and put them out on YouTube where we put it. We'll also put the link in there. So
great.
So I'll make a note of that to make sure we have
and you know what? Because like I said, I saw this and I was still. I don't like to say, like people say, once you're alcoholic, you're always alcoholic. I don't like to say once you have PTSD, you always have PTSD. No, I think that is curable. I looked at that video and I said, man, I wish everybody. A good therapist would just listen. And I've been there with, I've seen a therapist look at the time or like, hurry up. I mean, because as you can see, I'm long-winded and it takes me a long time to express myself. But, when they're going, hurry up, it makes you feel like a less of a person. So.
Yeah, and that doesn't give you, yeah,
No.
that doesn't benefit you in any way, and especially
No.
what you're paying them just to listen to you. Come on.
Yeah.
At least act like you like it.
Yeah.
And so cool. So we'll get that.
I want to come back next year big time because, like I said, the
Yes.
cool social, they're going to like, wow, how'd you get inside? And I tell the guys, I tell people, if we're there in person, I say, hey guys, this works, and guys and girls, this works. And I show people how to get inside other people's heads and with just certain questions, you know, and and I think, like I said, a lot of these attacks, cybersecurity attacks, these attacks from China, they're not just done online on a computer. They have somebody on ground. They have boots on ground, and I have interviews, videotapes of interviews of former social engineers, former representatives from Russia, or telling how they, you know, get inside people's heads to get a place to work.
There's definitely a human element in every case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It definitely is. Well, I don't think there's any questions from anyone, and yeah, definitely. Perfect. So if you just go ahead and hang out in the Slack for the rest of the day or whatever, and of course you could always be part of Oklahoma, even though you're out here.
I think I'm gonna take my Uber card and that Uber discount and get a Big Mac.
Yes.
Watch the rest of the conference.
That's what it's there for.
You know what? I got to tell you, that right there. Oh my God, that I've been I spoke 34 times live last year, and I spoke 12 times virtual this year. This is the first time where, you know, you guys flag. I mean, that the Uber, when I was like, man, that's a game changer right there. I never heard anything like that. That's cool. I got a T-shirt before from one, but this right here, I like that. That's cool. I like that.
You might actually get a T-shirt from this one too. So be looking out for that. I know we like to spend our money, I guess, on our.
I see, yeah, but that Uber's that's oh my God, whose idea was that?
That right there, I believe, was Mr. Swaney's.
Mr. Swaney, I'm gonna tell you,
Nathan Swaney, I believe. If not,
right there, Nathan Swaney. That was the class. That's a class act move. Man, a matter of fact, I'm gonna go on my social media and post that.
Nice, please do. He'd love that. He'd love that.
Shame everybody else.
Hey, that's Okies know how to do it, I guess.
I see, yeah. Oh, that's right, Oki. That's right, Oki. Yeah, that's where I forgot that name. Yeah, Oki.
Yep. Well, thank you so much again, Crux, and yeah, very great talk, and I really appreciate your time and all this. And please hang out.
Kick it with you guys later. Thank you, sir.
All right. Dr. Dre, yeah. So I guess the next thing on the agenda, we're actually talking with Okta and GuidePoint Security. So what we're doing today, we got Josh Wilbur, I believe, and who else? We got Jeff. Josh isn't here. Yeah, Josh is here, Jeff, and Ricky. And so I believe, Jeff, you're with GuidePoint, right? You're running your own business now, aren't you?
No, I'm the next talk. I'm the 11 o'clock. I'm just here too early.
Hey, nothing wrong with too early. Nothing wrong with too early. So we got Josh and Ricky.
Jeff, you're a good friend anyway.
Thanks, Ricky. I miss seeing you.
You bet, man. Hey, I'm still here.
Hey, that's
I'm the new GuidePoint representative for Oklahoma.
Excellent. And so I didn't know how you wanted to start this off. Ricky, did you want to just go ahead and dive into your new region and what you're doing over at GuidePoint?
Sure. Yeah. Well, GuidePoint is the largest privately and employee-owned cybersecurity consulting firm in the United States. And I am the first person they've brought on board to cover the state of Oklahoma. So we're based actually in Washington, D.C., Virginia side of Washington, D.C. Regionally, we're based in St. Louis. And we have a subsidiary, a company called Deepwatch, which is a MSSP or MDR. And they're based in Denver, Colorado. And roughly we have, I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 engineers specializing in just about every aspect of cybersecurity. In addition to that, our subsidiary, which manages a 24/7 SOC, has roughly 300 analysts 24/7. And that's through our subsidiary Deepwatch. But we're partnered with Okta, and Josh, I think, is going to kind of give a couple slides and talk about some of the relationships that we've built with some of our top vendors, such as Okta.
Cool. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
is it okay just to share my slides?
Oh, yeah. Do you have I guess you got 5 minutes worth of slides here, Josh?
I have 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
No
so
way. Let's do this.
Perfect. So yeah, no, I appreciate you guys letting us sponsor B-Sides. So I'm Josh Wilbur. I'm the RSM. I'm going to talk about our identity and zero trust platform. I do want to let you know I have one marketing slide, but it's actually a really good slide because we have 8,000 customers out there, and it's some of the trends and what we're seeing with digital transformation and modernizing identity. So one of the big challenges, especially in this digital transformation age, is a lot of these companies are moving to the cloud. So the challenges there are cloud applications are outside of the firewall. You have a lot of endpoints that aren't secured, and just imagine having to provision and deprovision dozens of those accounts. Then we jump over on the other side of the perimeter. On the other side of the firewall, we have that old legacy on-prem applications. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But companies I work with have dozens of active directories, remote challenges, and also new security requirements. And the old castle and moat strategy doesn't really work, but the way we like to talk about it is people are bringing their own devices and they're needing access anywhere in the world. So that's been a big challenge as well, especially around Corona and having to rapidly move to a remote workforce. And then the last thing is customer identity is fragmented. We have companies that go through acquisitions, they have different product lines, different brands, and that leads to dozens of pages, dozens of logins. So what companies out there are competing against each other and becoming their own technology companies is you want to have that frictionless and seamless experience for your clients. So Okta, we took a different approach to identity access management. We pioneered identity as a service. So just so you guys know, everybody knows us by MFA SSO. We don't just focus on those use cases. They are a use case, one of our top use cases out there, but we focus on identity lifecycle. We focus on access provisioning, and then also customer identity. The picture you see in front of you on the right side, that little laptop, that's our workforce identity. So it's an independent and neutral platform, one product. You have your one unique username, you sign in, some go passwordless, but some have that one password, and then you have access to any hybrid cloud application out there from a single pane of glass. Then you move over to the middle. I wasn't gonna give the MLB use case today, but it is opening day for a lot of the teams. So baseball fans out there, you go to MLB.com, you go to the portal, that's Okta authenticating behind it. You go to the application, that's Okta authenticating behind it, all from one identity. You can get access to stream, access to your account, access to fan shop, everything powered by Okta behind the scenes. We talked about cloud adoption, zero trust. I guarantee a lot of companies are talking about zero trust. A lot of executives are pushing down, or even you guys are pushing up zero trust model. But Forrester just released the model. The only identity provider out on that model right now is Okta, and identity is the new perimeter. And sorry if I'm going fast, but I have 2 more slides, and then if you guys have any questions, jump over to our Slack. We're gonna be available all day, and we're also giving away a speaker. So the workforce identity part of our platform and customer identity, here's all the different initiatives. So moving to the cloud, protecting against data breaches, adopting zero trust, and then also the different projects that my clients are talking about. So SSO for employees, partners, deploy MFA everywhere, automation for on and offboarding, self-password reset, and then adopting to 365 or any other cloud application out there. I'm not going to cover the different products. We do have a new product called Access Gateway. This is for our on-prem applications, pushing Okta Identity Cloud down to on-prem. Then we have our Okta Advanced Server. This is pushing the Okta Identity Cloud platform to our infrastructure. So we call it a PAM Lite Linux and Windows servers. We're doing automation with provisioning and deprovisioning local accounts, and also having SSO and MFA down on the infrastructure level. But as Okta, our goal is to enable any company out there to use any technology, best of breed. We want to make sure that you and your team has all the proper resources to complete your task. And by doing this, the most powerful part of our platform is our Okta integration network. We integrate with everybody out there. So right out of the box, we have 6,000 applications we could get up in the matter of seconds. And then all the different vendors you're going to talk to today, we integrate with every single vendor out there. And then I'll leave it here, right here. So here's some of the customer case studies if you guys want to read upon that. But I appreciate you guys letting us come by. I appreciate the BSides team. I'm not sure if that was under 5 minutes. I tried. I probably need to drink some water right now, but we're going to be in our Slack channel. We're giving away prizes. We have actually a cool Oklahoma City Thunder event coming up where it's just a pick 'em. You win prizes. You pick if they're going to win or lose. So ask me about that too. And I look forward to talking with you throughout the day.
Josh, you did amazing. I'd like to say. And then also, one thing I was pretty impressed was one of the integrations I believe I came across was HashiCorp Vault actually has an integration right out of the box with Okta, if I remember correctly. Like you didn't have to install anything else. It was just like, hey, you want to log in via Okta into your Vault? It was right there. And so Josh isn't kidding. Okta's kind of out there and integrating with as many partners as possible, it seems. And so thank you so much, Josh, for your time. And
Thanks, man. Good seeing you again.
yeah, it's great seeing you too, man.